hit us in the comments. Tell us some dope shit. Like, what have you been enjoying? What do you want us to do more of?
Especially if you're one of the listeners or viewers that used to just be a listener, right?
Oh, yeah, an OG, right? We got a few of them, I'm sure.
I want to hear from those guys.
Oh, heck yeah. If you've been listening to us and watching us for a while and seeing us grow, we absolutely do.
I just have one question. Why?
Don't question it. Just go with it. And you just go, shh, just let it happen.
You stop laughing right now. Did we just become best friends?
And we're the 3 best friends that anybody could have.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
You boys like Mexico?
We've just been doing this kind of stuff for, our whole lives, basically. Like, I say it's funny because as kids we did it, but we never lost the childish innocence with it. It's just we've gotten crazier questions. Oh, dude.
Question everything. Authority, information, question everything. That's just kind of...
Yeah, not in like a belittling way. It's not a disrespectful. It's, it's Socratic.
Socratic?
Yeah, it's about, as stone sharpens stone or iron sharpens iron, like however you want to, you just get...
Yeah.
I think we're all here to learn and we're all here to grow.
But it's just like I have a natural tendency towards curiosity when it comes to, I think everybody, I hope most people do, but I can only speak for myself. Like I've just always been super curious about everything, like how things work fascinates me. I should really,
it's the same with me with like psychology. It intrigued me on such a weird level, like so many different aspects that really came from it. It really was it was the core of what I really did education wise, but also was very valued in being able to use personally. So, it was something that not only like educated me and intrigued me, but it's the human condition. It's all of it put together, I said it before, like nature, nurture, so there's what you're supposed to be and then what your environment would say you are. But the combination of the two, which, sometimes they complement, sometimes they do not. But the combinations that you get with that, no matter what the inputs are, it's fascinating. And that, to me, that's the ultimate of what we as intelligent humans, dichotomy wise, think of it, because it's like we're smart enough to realize all these kind of things, but at the same time, it's like we just don't know. And it can be anything at any time. So as much as we say we know and find facts, it's like we really don't know. So it becomes this philosophical aspect, and it just, the way all of this works it's just fucking insane. It's none of us really ever freaking stop to like pull back and just think about that in a sense.
Well, we know, we can target areas of the brain we know are active during certain activities or certain thought processes.
Right.
But that's generalized mapping. I don't know how in depth we've gotten with certain.
Well, dude, if they got neural links and shit, they must be doing pretty well to know how to like plug into Johnny and like do. Beam me up, Scotty. Upload.
Yeah, I always wonder how this is my little tangent right here.
Probably not little, but rocket, bro.
Well, how it is that like ancient traditions involve pointing towards the pineal. Like, how did they know that existed? Like, how far back does this technology go? Like, in understanding, like, because in a way that is a technology, and understanding how the human body works. And to them, it was a temple. It made sense. Like, the body itself is the temple.
Well, see, you saying that brought back my reference of how the pyramids, the way they're stacked, even as a machine, you can still look at it as a representation of the 7 chakras. So even the pyramid has reference to that. You know what I mean? So there's alignment and
the Vitruvian Man, it lines up. The chakras, the Vitruvian Man, and the chambers of the temples all line up.
Well, and squaring the circle, isn't that the term? I think
so.
But the ball that, whatever size ball that you could put within the area of that triangle where it would fit. I say triangle, that pyramid. Something about the mathematics of it makes it work out so that you're from above, you're squaring the circle.
Yeah, I want to agree with you on that term. I feel very familiar with that. Like that, it sounds like a thing. But yeah, no.
It's intriguing on so many levels, and when you realize that the pyramid also there wasn't 4 sides, that there's actually 8.
Oh yeah, because they bend in and shit.
So when you include the bottom, that's 9, which is the magic number.
Yeah, but so going back to the thing you were saying about like the pineal gland and stuff like that, there's the reference of that even in the having the chakras and that alignment and whatnot with the pyramid. So even then it was represented. So this, like you said, this technology had to have been around for a very long time if it's already represented within what we're deeming at this point. I mean, this thing's they're starting to get into the point of saying I think it's like 130,000 years old or some shit. Fucking old, bro. Current understanding makes it like what, at most 7,000 years old or something. I think that's like the common possibility. If you go by true Bible, I think it's only several thousand years old, right, or something. So it's like that doesn't make sense.
There's evidence that some of these things are much, much, much older.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the current understanding is it's closer to something like 130. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, this thing was here, and most likely, I mean, with the supposed, like Younger Dryas and the Ice Ages, like all that stuff, with it being there for that long means that thing most likely burnt out so fucking long ago. But it's so well constructed that it's still fucking there.
Well, it was apparently during the time of Napoleon, it was still mostly covered in sand.
Second century CE by the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, is when they visualized the pineal gland as a sort of guard or valve, like the pylori of the stomach. So that's when they started realizing that it regulated the flow of the vital spirits in your brain.
Well, now science is,
and that was the first written record of the pineal gland.
I think it goes back even further than that, but
well, that's what I was saying about the pyramids. Like, if it's representing the chakras, even to that point, to have this again understanding of technology. I like that word. It speaks to its depth of how important that knowledge is. How long it's been here. Yeah, that in and of itself is, I think, astonishing. But I
like the theory that it was a place of ritual, and there was a certain place, there was a certain room set aside that you're actually supposed to spend the night in, basically, to sleep over, because the resonant factor of that machine when it's turned on, it basically sends you into an out of body experience where you have an ego death and all kinds of other things. And
yeah, kind of like the machine in frickin' Stargate, right? It was like what looked like a standardized tomb, the massive sarcophaguses and stuff, but you got in it and it like did its shit, ionized you, whatever, like rebuilt shit. I mean, the freaking machine, like in Fifth Element, where it like completely rebuilds just from a bone fragment and shit. It takes this little bit of, from the hand that they recovered and just like completely rebuild a new person.
Well, that's a whole level of creepy that I wasn't ready to get into right now.
Yeah, right. And still had a consciousness that had memories and access to it. Think about that shit.
Multipass.
Lilu multipass. This is correct.
My favorite. Boom. Big bada boom.
Yeah, big bada boom. Yeah, no, that shit was just in my head too. Oh, yeah, no, that scene's hilarious. But there's so many good scenes in that movie, honestly. And there's some
My favorite movie other than The Wizard of Oz.
We just tangented on a tangent.
Oh, that's you at home know this. Thank you.
But the pyramid being.
So, hey, hold on. Touching on that though. So the French philosopher Rene Descartes, he believed that the pineal gland was a tiny button of neurons that is actually the evolutionary relic of a vanished organ, aka your third eye.
Okay.
And if you go back to Egyptians, it's the Egyptians, what was his name? The Eye of Horus. Through various religious traditions, it was considered the seat of the soul and the third eye. So Egyptians practiced, and that was the first thing I thought of when you were mentioning that. And then Phil, you had touched on the pyramids. My mind immediately went to Egypt when you talk about any organs and like that. So I feel like the Egyptians were probably like the most on top of it because they were the ones like resecting them for like every single organ and gland that was important for the afterlife to preserve and mummify. So I feel like they might have had a better understanding than any other culture at that time.
So look, I'm thinking if you're tapped into this machine, right? If you're in the pyramid in this place that's an energy collector, and apparently when the capstone was on there and the thing was completed, and we're making mention of third eye, it just made me think like that means basically that's shooting up into the cosmos and it's connecting to whatever source energy, if you want to say, producing, distributing. It's a transformer and you're in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. What does that do to your spirit? And maybe that's why, if you believe that theory that all the mystics and all the, Jesus and every Buddha, that they all actually spent time in part of their ascension was visiting that particular place. And when you think about it historically, it would still be accurate. Like Jesus in his lifetime could have visited.
Right.
I mean, it's not inconceivable.
All right. I'm going to throw this out here. Lately, this just keeps coming to my head for, I don't know why, but it just keeps popping up like throughout the days and the weeks. So, you know how this taps into the pineal gland and like the neurons and like, okay, bear with me here. I'm going to try and spit this out as logically as it possibly can. So in the Bible, it says like, there's as many stars in the sky as sand grains on the ground, right?
Which science is saying now.
God picked this and everything. But then if you look at the universe, it matches up with the neural patterns in your brain. Okay. Then if you look at certain frequency structures,
mycelium,
it's actually like DNA within your body, right? Like the imaging is the same. So this whole thing with the dimensions, and we're in like a altered reality and stuff like that. Like, I know we've discussed this before, like in the middle of the night when I wake up and I'm like going from one room to another and I'm walking around, like I get like, my vision goes like that. And it looks like, like back in the 90s, like, like the TV wasn't like all there when you were switching channels, like it would at first. So like my vision goes like that and it feels like pixelated, like things are trying to like regain like a pixelation. So think about this with all that spit out. If your pineal gland is your God gland and they say that you are your own God, you are your own conscious, you are, God exists within inside you in the pineal gland. So take that. God's your pineal gland. It's in you. Technically, you are your God. God is in you. I am. So take that and then all the cosmos and everything with the projected reality and the dimensions where like everything's a simulation. What if you are the creator and you created your simulation and everything's in your head, your subconscious, and it's all within your brain instead of here? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So this is where, okay. So I always talk about it, and at least this is where my mind went when you went with that is, we're more or less timeline wise. Every outcome is possible in every direction, like at all times, all at once, just like in the freaking movie, right? Like, dude, it literally is
everywhere. Yeah.
But with that in mind is, so while all of those do exist because all things are one at once, so there really is no time. It's just us in third dimension, going with 4D, time, being able to perceive that as sensory beings. Dude, that's the more or less the way it goes. So that you have all of these as potentials, and like they said they're starting to figure that things are going to react a completely different way until there's an observer. Now all of a sudden there seems to be order and it's predictable, like they're putting on a show basically because there's an observer. So with all of that is, to me, if you are resonating in that frequency, it's going to put you into that more or less parallel universe or alternate perception or potential that exists all at the same time, because they all are right here. Like there's so many different layers to it, because we're basically just entities in meat suits. You know what I mean? Like
we're things at a lower frequency. So 2 things. One, let me add to that and say that, hold on, I just totally lost my train of thought.
Which isn't like
right back after this.
One of the highest frequencies, I think, is gratitude, even more so than love.
Oh, okay. I remembered. All right. So ADHD.
Game on.
Let me take the next step. Okay. Think about being in the human experience. So like the yogic, philosophy theory is you are an entity, you are a being living the human experience, right? So supposedly you go into this life, you pick who your parents are going to be, what experiences you're going to do, what lessons you need to learn, like basically what video game you're going to play of life. You pick this out before like you stick it in the console.
Pick your trials.
So keep that in mind with the whole, like, you are your own creator, you like alter your own reality, da, 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 da. So think about the laws of attraction. That's just you altering your own reality and changing your own outcome, because you actually do have control. If you're in control of creating your entire existence, experience, whatever you want to call it.
And that's my excuse for believing in the impossible for anyone, is that being able to tap into that. If you can imagine, we can do half of the stuff that quantum science has found within the quark and all the weird stuff that happens at a subatomic level, then everything is made up of that. Right. So doesn't that kind of mean everything is kind of an open channel to anything? Like this whole multiverse theory, whatever you want to call it, it's just,
think about this too. Each verse is a different frequency. So this is a solid object. Like my hand can't go through it. But if I can manipulate my frequency, I can and it would just go right through. But that's a thing, because we're living this human experience, we're stuck at this certain frequency. So until you can learn to alter your frequency, then you can create those supernatural powers, and you could do things that are more like,
what's the frequency?
Mind-boggling. I'm not saying go run into a brick wall, but I mean, like if you can figure out how to change your frequency to the same exact frequency as a brick wall, who knows? You might be able to freaking walk through it. Don't run, walk.
There is no spoon. No,
Or we have to be a much higher frequency, maybe 11 octaves higher.
I'm saying, like, that's how
Could be.
we have objects that we can't manipulate because there are different frequencies in this realm.
Well, see, and you brought up the idea of multiverse in the sense of video game style, where you get to pick all of your inputs, you know, just like when you go to the video game and you pop in your quarter and it's like, what character do you want to be? You know, which world do you want to come from? What's the weapon you want to take with you? Like, you know, you get some choices and shit.
Like, I want to play on level hard. Like, I want to have challenges as a child. You know,
but that's what I said. I reference,
still find ways to excel and just, you know, I'm going to push.
See, and I remember putting it as we're all basically, you know, fifth dimension style star children, the energy entity lights of love and all that stuff out in the other realms are basically sitting in our astral Pizza Hut with a little freaking
quarter out of your pocket. Like, check this out.
Well, yeah, but you know, you have like those old school, like Pizza Hut style, you know, flat arcade shit. And you're sitting there and you're like, I'm going to put it on hard. I'm going to make it, you know, you just put all of these different
expert level,
right? You're just like, I'm going to set a record.
Law of attraction in that form, though. Like, I want a pizza. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, 50 coins. I have a pizza now. I can purchase a pizza. But it's like you're putting things in your path to get what you want because you can actually manipulate and alter your own experience.
Well, see, and that's why I like the idea of when you brought up law of attraction, because it's almost not like you're pulling in. It's almost as if you're projecting
what you want.
Well, and in doing so is you're pulling yourself towards something else. And this allows you to, you know, zigzag, move around, and that kind of dictates frequency and then where you're at in, again, that multiverse.
Like we said too before, like being on the same frequency.
Like Donkey Kong.
As say, being on the same frequency as, say, other people, like in a group setting. Like, you are literally drawn to people that are on a similar frequency to you, especially if it's at a higher frequency, because you're kind of looking for that, you know, but the frequency that you vibrate at is the one that you're going to attract to. So, and it's the same thing with the law of attraction. Like, and that's why there's all this claim about act as if it's already happening.
Yeah.
Which is also training.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Training your physical activities to take on this new responsibility before it's even yours.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
so
act as if, man. One of my favorite parts of Boiler Room. What's up?
Which kind of makes sense. You know?
Well, yeah.
It makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you?
What if heaven, hell, and purgatory were all different frequencies and people got stuck in them and couldn't figure out how to...
But I said that myself, again, because you're resonating on those levels. So it's all about perception. So that in and of itself not only dictates what timeline you're on, but where you're also in reality-wise. You know, the heaven and earth are the same, just as heaven and hell and earth and hell. And, you know, that's why it's purgatory is the in between. Well, that's just earth. You know, heaven is what you make of it. And so is hell. So it doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing or what perception you're in. Your reality is also based within that perception as well. So that, of course, you know, modifies the video game of sorts and the perception level. And
isn't everything we perceive as solid, though, and everything that, like, we see, it's just bent light? Seriously, it's just
your bent light.
It's light that's spinning at different frequencies
and everything. Yeah.
We interact with the things around us, not because otherwise our bodies would pass right through them, because they're all made of atoms that are nothing but space.
Yeah, I was just going to say atoms, whether it's a negative or positive charge is going to depend whether it's more like a solid or not.
Right. So the negative charge on the outside of your atomic structure is going to be, coming in contact with the negative on the surface of the table. So it seems real, but you're actually never touching the table. Like, I don't know.
Think about this
nerdy science stuff.
Randomness.
You never actually touch anything.
What if the apocalypse is just the dimension falling apart?
But that's also, but that would be a reality that is, a potential and is already transpiring.
How we move to the next dimension.
But if you live and see, again, this goes back to how I always say, when you guys bring up, oh, I saw this in the news, or this is what's going on, or, we're having our side chats and stuff, and we're putting out like, oh, this is what's, just been done, or somebody said something about that. Like all these things that can seem very detrimental and destructive and just, this, what I would deem is just negativity. And it's like, dude, I don't live in that reality. That's not my world. Because I don't pay attention to
that
it.
Yeah, I don't want to focus on that.
But, and that again goes like what you were saying, law of attraction and all that. So depending on what your focus and frequency is, your perception will dictate whether it's heaven or hell or earth or, it's like, whatever you think it is, it is.
Bro, I've had people get mad at me because they're like, what do you mean you don't watch the news? I'm like, I haven't watched the news for years. I'm like, it's entertainment.
Well, and see, back in the day, and I'm going like 10, 15 years when I actually did watch the news, I was watching like BBC and Al Jazeera and stuff because I was trying to get like the rawest, truest content.
That's much rawer.
Yeah, it's raw. Raw.
Raw. Which actually isn't a word, but that's okay.
I've conjugated and utilized multiple times.
You couldn't conjugate these.
But yeah, no, that's a whole. And seeing how the hell did we get here?
How do we ever get? Where are we?
Where are we? Yeah, no.
What just happened?
Injunction. What's the function?
But yeah, that's why again when you put it as multiverse video game, and then adding the contingency of heaven, hell, earth, like. That goes to, I think, 3-dimension, 4-dimension, because when you bring in time, that's where you get perception, because you can sense things as they go, which means there's feeling behind it. Because at least to my understanding is outside of 3rd and 4D, so 5th dimension, 6th dimension, 7th dimension, it's not emotion, it's energy, it's truer vibe, and it's love and light, basically. It's music, it's everything that isn't spoken when you speak to somebody. It's all the other stuff, like
everything you just mentioned, everything that exists, you would be connected and one with all of it.
And that's what we're supposed to be. Now, mind you, there's all these like nuances that built up spider web style with, bits and pieces, and freaking erector set style, like in, the Fraggle Rock and shit, where the Doozlers and stuff, like, dude, putting any and all that together. You look at all of the math, all of the structures, all of the music. All of the different things that are expressions that can be quantified in any kind of level. And these things all predict the same shit. They all align with the same thing. They all tell the same story. Like, there's way too many consistencies that we're aware of that there's no way that none of this is real. Like, some of this shit has got to be actual understanding. And in that is basically, it's almost like looking behind the curtain at Oz, and you get to see the wizard, you know what I mean? And see how it actually works.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
And all it really is again, us as love and light entities in 5th and 6th and 7th dimensions. But it's all structured from one place, one thing. It has to come from somewhere.
It's all one.
Just saying.
One in the darkness.
Maybe it's Mabel.
Yeah. And all that.
But see, and that's why I like my Pizza Hut video game idea, because you're sitting there playing this console. Meanwhile, all of your other friends are just like, look at him. He's going for the score. Oh, why would you choose that? Like, you do the dumbest shit in actuality, where it's like us down here, Grand Theft Auto, but in the meat suit, virtual reality kind of style.
Even better, I think they can reach into the program and make changes as your friends.
Dude, you know what I mean?
Like the jeer button sometimes when you get on
right, but they gotta like pay quarters for it or some shit. I don't know. It's a video game. There's always a quarter slot, but you can pay for anything. Mulligans.
Super Mario Brothers was like the setup of life.
It's not even though. It's a classroom. That's kind of more the way I think of it. Not so much a video game, but like okay, well, it's my turn to plug back in again, and now I'm gonna try it this way. Like, okay, I was a girl last time. Now I want to be a boy. Now I want to have it rough. Like I want to be born like poor in the inner city. And I want to have to struggle and hustle to survive. But I'm still going to do ABC. You know, I'm going to do that. And if I don't do it this lifetime, I'll do it the next. But like challenge yourself. And like, that's where the video game part comes in. Cause it's almost like, okay, well I did that on level 1 and I kicked ass at it. But like, okay, now I need to be like, all right, you know, I'm going to handicap myself somehow. There's going to be something, whether terrible upbringing, you know, born missing a limb, whatever, make it difficult on yourself. But still ABC. Like, got to complete those things.
I was like, always be closing.
Yeah. Whatever you want to put. Yeah. Always be closing. That's the.
But yeah, no, and you said it best, man. School, learning, basic instructions before leaving Earth. You know what I mean? Like,
But that Earth is a classroom.
it's also Wu-Tang.
That's what Dolores Cannon says. And
Well, that's what we say in church.
how can you not believe Dolores?
Dolores.
I mean, look at her. I mean, just look at her.
She's so old.
She's a sweet old lady, and she's just telling you like it is.
You can't take her stuff.
She's just too old.
She's too old. The sweet old lady. Dorothy Mantooth is a saint, I'll have you know.
This is why we can't have serious conversations.
This is why we can't have nice things.
It's exactly why we can't have
Yeah, no.
because I'm also a
I
klutz.
don't know if I told you guys, but when I was in Massachusetts, I went and saw a psychic. And I went specifically to try and get past life regression.
You heathen. Oh.
Or past life information. And one thing that she said to me was like, if you were to guess how many lives you've already lived, what would your guess be? And I literally looked at her and chuckled. And I was like, I feel like I've lived 100,000 lives here because it's like same shit, different day. I'm over it. And she just laughed and she goes, well, you're a veteran soul and you've lived over 1,000 years here, like over 1,000 different lives. And I was just like, oh, am I almost at the end game?
But see, and that's the thing is like, just as we get to choose to plug in, we get the choice of not, you know? And this is why, like,
This is that weird thing about existence within the same reality, but on a completely different frequency. So in a way, like you could experience all of this from an outside perspective, any aspect of it at any time within that timeline that it exists to, it doesn't exist. Humanity, you know, humanity.
well, and so this is why I like the whole KRS-One thing where he talks about you in the 5th dimension and having representation here in the 3rd and 4th dimension, where he utilizes, if you speak to yourself in your head, you know, where did that voice come from and how did you hear it? If you didn't say it and your ears didn't actually hear it, like that's you in the 5th dimension kind of a thing.
That's what made me think about the whole, what if God lives inside your head and he is the pineal gland and your conscious is the audible voice that you hear when you do talk to yourself in your head. So hypothetically, is that the voice of God? Because God lives within inside you?
I can easily believe that the pineal gland is a biochemical representation of the part of your brain that can understand, because we're talking about something that's incomprehensible, not inutterable,
Like not
ineffable.
exactly, ineffable, unexplainable. Like there is no way, if you have that experience, there is no way to express that to somebody else in words. Like you would be very, very hard pressed. You'd need to brainstorm and have a recording of that experience from me implanted on you.
Dude, anything can be hacked, man. This is why this is one of the things that I love the most.
Man, hack the world.
This is one of the things I love most about the way my parents raised me is they gave me rules, but gave allowances within those rules where it's like, well, if you worked within the rules and you didn't technically break them, even though you did something we didn't want you to do. Mm-hmm. So they really just taught me as like,
that was sneaky, bitch. New rule.
I'm loop.
Right. But it taught me to be smart about stuff and see the ways to go through things. So it's just like.
So they taught you how to find loopholes.
Pretty much. Either find them, make them. It doesn't matter. Just
that's not something I'd want to admit.
Why wouldn't I want to admit that?
As a parent, you know, I'm saying like, oh, apparently this is what I taught him.
Nah, dude, I'm proud of that fact. I think it's pretty dope.
Well, of course you are. It's probably worked in your favor. On numerous occasions.
Maybe it's maybe. No, and it's, but see, and that's why it's, to me, it's not so much like a loophole, but a alternate understanding where you gave me a construct and it's like, well, you said this and this is what I did. So technically that's.
You said no parties in the house.
Yeah, you're right.
In the yard. It was in the yard. Nobody actually stepped foot in the house.
Inside the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I made people pee on the trees, man.
I'm the same way, but then they realized they had to get specific. Like, now you have to think about variables when you give me rules.
But see, this also, so while this gives, me, the child, as I'm aware of, so my perception, while it gives me the allowance to have that educational upbringing where it gives me free thinking and problem solving skills, it too, for the parent also, stone sharpens stone, right? Because because it's like, oh, well, we did say that, but however, if we say this now we're getting what we want. And it's just like, damn it, they got me. But
I had to make a new rule.
Yeah. That's, You
got me, Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah.
You're good, you.
Was it fool me once? Shame on you.
Yeah, fool me can't get fooled again.
Fool me twice, shame on, boy. Yeah. Then whatever.
I did the Bush one. It's like, you fool me once,
fool me 3 times.
No, he's like,
back on you again.
No, he's like, fool me once. Fool me can't get fooled again. And it's just like, wait, what? Did he just seriously say that? That's not how that works. It's not how any of that works. Like,
what happened?
I'm cracking myself up over here thinking about some old Bush shit. That was funny too.
Is your Bush?
Oh, yeah, well, that's, King of the Forest.
King of the Forest? Is this your Bush?
Got a special bond with his Bush. Actually, I kind of do. I'm going to be honest with you.
Just go over, over there, or
just don't cross the streams. Oh, seriously, I'm like cracking myself up over
here. It's so funny to make fun of, though. Like the whole thing, you could equate that to just being in a bathroom. Like, have we ever talked about this before? Like you have.
Gotta have that buffer, bro.
Say you have,
you gotta have that buffer, bro.
5 urinals and you choose the one all the way to the right. If a guy comes in and chooses one, even one space from you, you're still like, why there? Like, don't you automatically think, look, if you're the second guy, you're on the far left.
See, I'm just give me that single buffer.
But the weird thing
if you have the ability to have a single buffer, give me just one. I'm okay with the rest.
But the weird thing would be is if there's 4 to your right, to your left, and somebody takes the first one next to you.
That's a little weird, bro. Gotta be honest.
None of them are out of order. There's nothing wrong with the other ones.
No.
It's not like they're too short. Like, all things being equal, because I know about the 2 short ones. That's a little weird. You're like,
You don't always take the short one just so that anybody else can have like options for like standard size. Dude, hey man, I'll take one for the team, bro. I'm cool with that. Like, dude, I'm a very huge pay it forward type dude. Like, my actions I attempt to be as impeccable as possible. And I want all things to be its greatest potential for all of us at all times, period. Like, I meditate for it. I pray for it. Like, whatever you want to call it. Like, I put that kind of energy out there. I'm working hard on that shit. Like, dude, I want good times for everybody.
I'm saying, like, I don't care who you are. Like if somebody takes that stall right next to yours,
bro.
when there's other ones to choose from,
Hard pass.
It's just weird.
It's not weird. It's creepy.
Like you almost expect him to start looking over, like
in waiting.
Like, why are you
He starts
here?
talking about his dick and shit.
Like,
now we can't pee in public.
You had like 3 other choices. Like, why are you here? That's my, yeah.
You ever been on Highway 14? But like, wait, what? There's a truck stop at the... No, you can stop talking.
Just stop talking. Just stop.
Bro, go 4 down. Go 4 down now.
Now.
Fuck it, I'm moving.
Break. All right, good game. Stay over there. That's all I'm saying. It's just weird. Don't do that.
Yes, that's what it is here. Which, as always, maybe if you're still watching, and if you are, by the way,
hit us up in the comments.
Dude, no, you should be watching. If you haven't seen the credits, we've been sneaking in credits. Maybe go back and watch a couple of the fresher episodes. There's credits.
And we're pointing at things. You know.
Hey, we're pointing. We're cupping this guy.
That was funny,
bro, dude. Cousin. So there was one of the episodes where he he was doing this thing as the credits, and I made the credits do that. And then, as he did it, I literally referenced, was like, you just cupped that guy.
Seriously, this is...
So I put it as this guy, because that's, he cupped him.
Somewhere there's a restraining order against me.
Dude, that shit was hilarious.
From both this guy and his cousin.
Yeah, well, because then I added in, because he did it a second time. I was like, you just cupped that guy's cousin. And so it literally said, this guy's cousin. Because the first one was this guy.
I don't know who let him in here.
Probably the same people that let the dogs out.
What was his job? I don't think it was listed. It was just
No, he was
on set during film. This guy.
Maybe one of the gaffers. I don't know. We don't even have gaffers, people. But, we did start. So, for real, you at home, if you want to put your name in the credits, if you want to see your name on the screen.
Let's do this.
Dude, hit us in the comments for real. Tell us the name. Hey, this is the name I want you guys to put in the credits. Cool. We will put that name in the credits. Not a joke. We love this kind of shit. Because it takes us back to the 80s, especially like Ferris Bueller. To me, that's the epitome of the starter of after.
You said take us back to the 80s. I immediately thought calling your favorite radio station and requesting a song for your girlfriend.
You're right. I want you to play this for Tammy. Great, thanks.
This one goes out to Tammy.
But for real, if you want to see your name or your name that you want to see in the credits, dude, hit us up. Throw it in the comments. We, love that shit.
Your name or a name.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Yeah, no, for real. Help us out, make better, funnier credits. Because going again, dude, in Ferris Bueller, you get the credits rolling, and then he comes out from the shower. And he's got his freaking towel on, and the wrap on his he's just rocking it. He's like, "You're still here? What do you do? Go home." And we've been wrapping up with weirder stuff and having funner, energetic stuff beforehand. That, hey, you would hope we have bloopers too. And we've been running those things as well. We got all sorts of good, fun content with you.
We're funner. We're raw.
We're raw. We're so much funner. Yeah.
We're better.
We're the bestest. We really are.
We are the 3 bestest friends you could ever have.
You're right. We're the 3 best friends that anyone can have.
I'm just going to be throwing that up on the screen again.
Probably. This guy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, are we running credits now? We're
probably. We can be. I think they were running before.
Well, we got to do a closing statement or something, don't we?
What if the credits theme song
wrap it up
was "This is the show that never ends"? It's the credits.
That's a good point. Dude, we've been starting to add music and whatnot to the backgrounds and things. We've been getting better. Literally production, you at home, dude, for real, please hit us up. Tell us some dope shit where we like this. This is what we would love more of. Maybe talk about that.
Especially our original listeners out there, if they're still out there. The ones that had no video.
Yeah, right, dude. So much love. You have no idea.
I'm just saying, I don't even know,
Yeah, but plus Wu-Tang forever and for the children. Just
it is for the children.
Yeah, basic instructions before leaving Earth. But anyways, love the fact that we were talking multiverse.
But yeah, I mean,
chakras, pineals,
and we were talking about some interesting stuff. But like, we touched on something and then left it alone.
Pineals?
And I think your children have touched me too.
And you want to come back to it? Let us know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we make you think of something. We make you think of something. You want to type that in the. And hey,
clack that shit.
I want to hear a whole hour about this, and like, you know,
an hour.
Give us something to look up. Give us something to figure out. Like,
you had a light bulb
talk about that.
Went off. Share.
Fucking right.
Fucking right, doggy.
Fucking right, doggy. Dude, there's gonna be so many references. I love that shit. Because do people get the vision of like what's going on in our head? Because that's what we do. Like
the light bulb.
No, the movie
was
screen.
Such a good idea.
It became the symbol of a good idea.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Oh.
Anywho. Wow. As fun as this was, I think we are nearing the end.
It sounded like I'm not going to get a second date. As fun as this was. Wait, what? You're not going to try and kiss me?
I was born in the darkness.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it's me.
Maybe. For real, fam. Always hit us in the comments. Period. Point blank. As well as I mean, we do want to know what we don't really pick topics, but you wanted us to go more in depth, which we've been doing some stuff and creating some alternate content.
Like I said,
if you haven't seen that, we're doing some movie mess up shit. That's pretty dope. We're talking
about something. It makes you think of something else, or like we start going
what's going on in your head. Give me the movie screen that happened in your head.
And we don't finish the thought because I derail it somehow, and you want to bring it back up.
You play that funky music.
Because there's so many interesting things out there. Like everything, like we said at the beginning, like everything fascinates me. Everything makes me curious. How does it work? How does that? And your philosophy, I mean, like, of why do people do what they do? Like, why do I do what I do? Like, maybe that's where you got your footing from that you have to this day, is that you've been able to like use that as a tool to try and figure out like, well, you know, it's all important. It's all, and at times it needs to be talked about. You know, whether it's a psychologist, psychiatrist, whether it's your friends, whether it's just working shit out in your own head.
Thought experiments with yourself, right?
It needs to be focused on.
Journaling.
It needs to be paid attention to. Yeah. Because it's the curiosity, I think, that keeps me going every day. Yeah, the fact that I know there's things out here that are possible that I couldn't. Dude,
there is limitless possibilities. Everything is not only is everything possible, everything actually is, all at the same time and without time, all the time.
I thought you were going into a William Shatner thing there for a second.
Something on the wing.
On the wing.
On the wing. Oh, Jesus Lord.
There's something out there.
Yeah. We're out there, but we're also out of here, which, now there's probably credits running, or maybe we're just going to, you never know. Cause sometimes I do it as I put the bloopers at the end with the credits. Cause that's what we do.
There was bloopers at the beginning of this too.
Well, there's we put them all over the place. So between myself and the other editors and the stuff we do, and
we're like a blooper bookends.
Blooper bookend. Oh,
blooper bookends. Look it up.
Rubber baby buggy bumper.
Look it up. It's fun.
Look it up.
We'll get together and try it one weekend. I don't know.
Oh God. I mean, whatever you're into.
I don't know.
Not here to judge.
It's like gluten tag.
It is not gluten. There's no gluten tagging here. There's no gluten or tagging. Gluten tagging.
Gluten tagging?
Totally gluten tagging.
Is that like
really random?
Perfect.
Really, we're trying to wrap up the show. It's like,
a bagel. If there's mold on a bagel and you use it to gluten tag, could you cure an infection?
A jelly donut. Sorry.
Penetration penicillin.
Oh my God, it's still warm.
I only like my penicillin penetrated. Thank you.
Oh, it's so good. Anyhow,
On that note,
I don't even know what happened. Yeah,
I'm gonna need a second.
yeah,
That's
take a sip. Take a breather. Come on, bring us out.
take us home, number one. Hit us in the comments, continue the conversation, check out our alternate content. I mean, dude, just continue the conversation. This is what we're here for. This is really what we're here for. We want to talk about anything, everything with anybody, and just we want to go ape shit on everything. Let's just talk.
Getting people thinking and talking about stuff.
Fucking right. And living life
like
and being
whatever. I mean, I go all kinds of crazy avenues, but
that's why we
it could just be a love for music. It could be whatever it is. Just
broach pterodactyl. I had to do it. Oh God. But
find somebody on your wavelength to share it with,
Right. And as always, you at home, we appreciate you and we want you to be good to yourself and be good to everything else.
Much love.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey, hit your button.
Oh, you gotta hit the button, bro. Hit the button.